Hello, Key Biscayne. It is Monday, June 10th, 2019, and this is the No One's Listening Show, episode 153. I am here with the very intimate panel of Manny and I. Hello, Manny.
Oh, you talking to me?
I am talking to you. How you doing?
I guess so, because everyone else ditched tonight. Happy birthday, Frank Andrews.
Yeah, happy birthday, Frank. So we are here. We haven't been on the air in about a month because of some scheduling conflicts and some holidays and some other stuff.
Rafa, when you say we are here, what exactly do you mean?
We are at the perch, back at the perch, first time since, I don't know, November or something, maybe October, early October.
Yeah, for those of you who just started listening, the perch is Rafa's new place in the Garden District. For those of you that are either new to the Key or really old to the Key, the Garden District is a neighborhood on the east end, on the east side of Crandon.
East side?
This place looks amazing. I mean, is that real wood or is that like a laminate?
That is a real wood floor. The pride and joy of this whole project.
Spectacular.
Yeah,
You're gonna let people walk in with shoes here?
Yeah. I'm waiting. I don't need it to be pristine. I like a nice weathered look, so it's fine with me.
And does the fact that there's no air conditioning have any effect on the quality or the development of the wood?
So this is bad because my air conditioning broke. This is the second time in about a month or so that it's broken. So it probably means that it needs to be completely replaced.
Yeah, I mean, before it didn't matter because no one lived here.
Well, you still got to keep it at like 78 degrees so the whole place doesn't mold up. But this is a real problem for me. I might have to set up a GoFundMe for my AC because I think okay, I'll tell you one thing. To get a new AC on this building, you can't just walk it up because there's not enough room in the little hole that gets the access to the roof. So you got to get a crane over here to hoist the thing up there.
Hence the 5-figure fix quote.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And so, I don't know if, it's probably not 5 figures, but it's going to be really expensive. It's money I have not planned to have right now.
No, that money's already spent.
and so I might have a real long, hot summer. Thank God I kept the ceiling fan in the bedroom because that'll be my my go-to with the broken AC.
Well, the good news is that summer is almost over.
Yeah, sure. We're just getting into summer here. We just started feeling it in the past 2 weeks that real humid. Last year we called it like melty feeling, where you're not sure if you're sweating or if it's just the humidity. You know?
Well, I mean, look on the bright side. Anytime you're inside and you get hot, just come outside.
Yeah, there you go.
It's beautiful out here on the perch.
So why don't we talk about our weekends, or really the past month, anything that has been has stood out for you. I know you had an eventful weekend. Maybe you can give us a little tidbit about that.
Yeah, well, the weekend started last week. We ended the baseball season. And baseball is always a lot of fun out here, and there was an amazing finale game, the championship game. It was us against the Muck Dogs. It's a great group of families, the Hardys and Connells and McDaniels, and a great group. And it was the last game was played at the school. It was on Wednesday night. We played on Wednesday. And there must have been, I'd say, about 150 people there, fans watching the game. I've never seen anything like it. And the game went to extra innings, and just an incredible game. So super example of our community and a lot of fun. And then, so that was Wednesday night. And then Thursday morning.
But who won?
We won.
Okay. What's the team name?
The Hooks.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but it could have gone either way. The Hooks versus the Muck Dogs. Both teams won for sure. It was a win-win all the way around. So, and like I said, it went to extra innings, so it was a close game all the way. And then Thursday morning, Nancy, Alvaro, and Sandra and we hopped on a plane and we headed to Seattle.
Beautiful.
So out to Seattle, we were going out there to see the Dead and Company, which is the newest iteration of the Grateful Dead. John Mayer and a couple of other guys joining the longtime Dead band, and they played at a place called the Gorge, which a gorge is a geographical wonder. It's like a ravine or a canyon, just huge. And this place is about 2.5 hours east of Seattle. So you go through the mountains and then get out into, the valley. And there's this huge canyon cut through. It's the Columbia River. And imagine a stage propped up on the edge of this ravine with that backdrop, and a hill in front where it's sort of a natural amphitheater effect. And so we went out there for two shows, Friday and Saturday. We stayed in these. There's varying types of campgrounds on this place, the Gorge, and the Gorge Amphitheater. And the campgrounds range from pull up your car and sleep on the side of your car to bring your RV and park it in that RV lot, or we stayed in this area called the Oasis, which were these tents with like a big queen size bed, a couple chairs, a table, really nice, like yurts, right?
Wow.
Yurts, super nice. And it was incredible. Traveling with good friends and your best friend to an amazing place to hear great music and be around like-minded people. It was just a really...
So wait, the tent had a queen-size bed in it?
Yeah.
Nice. Did they do your sheets too, or you take those yourself?
No, all the bedding,
it's
towels.
Like a hotel room.
Yeah, it's like a hotel room.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was in a... You see this pink bracelet? This pink bracelet was the key for the weekend. So you got to park your car in this area where the Oasis campground was. You couldn't bring your friends in there that weren't staying there. Everyone has friends, at the show, but you couldn't bring your friends in. So it was very, private and secure.
Okay.
It wasn't private like snooty private, but secure is important. So, and then they had big trucks with showers and bathrooms, nice bathrooms. They called them there's this brand called Honey Bucket. Honey Bucket is it's like the ultimate porta potty company.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun, and we just got home this morning. We had an 8:30 flight last night out of Seattle that was going to get us in at 5 a.m. The flight was 5 hours delayed.
Ooh.
So it didn't push off until about 1:30 in the morning today, I don't know. And but luckily we had the upgrade coming home, so we slept a solid 6 hours. Woke up here in Miami, got home around 10 o'clock this morning.
Very nice, man.
Great weekend.
Wow. Well, my weekend was largely uneventful, but I did do a couple things that I can mention over the past couple weekends. So a couple weeks ago, I went to Glenn Savage's wedding. He got married to Ariana
It's in the Bahamas,
Ranieri.
right?
Yeah, it was out in Marsh Harbor, in the Abacos.
Hopetown?
In Hopetown, which is right off Marsh Harbor. And that was really nice. I went in and left, I was there I got there on a Friday night, went straight to the, the party that Friday night with my bag and everything. And then I was out of there by Sunday morning. So it was real quick, but it was really nice place.
How was the Friday night partying? That's a pretty rowdy crowd.
No, actually the crowd was a little bit subdued at the Friday night. But
No, I was talking about you and Theo.
Yes, exactly. Us, we did pretty well. Theo, Austin, Glenn and Ari, and Alexa and we were all pretty good about keeping it going. But a lot of the people petered out. And then the next night, Theo was on fire at the wedding, and then we went and so was I, and we went to the beach and we went to take a beach dip at 2 a.m. and that kind of scene.
Were there boats involved? I mean, it's a boating crew, but everyone flew there.
Yeah, everybody flew there. Austin was thinking about renting a boat, but then he had the worst luck. Let me explain this story to you. He gets this flight for Thursday so he can really enjoy the weekend.
It was. Let's qualify this. It was important for Austin to be there. Why?
Because Austin was the minister. He was
marrying them.
He's marrying them, yes, which was really funny to watch. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was funny. It was his first time doing something like that. Anyway, they had tickets for Thursday, so they could get there early and enjoy their weekend, a long weekend, And on Thursday, they take an American flight, direct from Miami to Marsh Harbor, and as the plane's getting there, the pilot decides that there's too much cloud coverage He's turning around and he's flying back to Miami.
Come on.
I swear. He is the only flight, I think, that didn't land that day, so it wasn't some crazy thing. And he said he saw the pilot. He said he saw the pilot, and he looked like he was 22 years old or something, that he freaked out or something. And he took him back to Miami. American, because it was a weather situation, canceled their flight and was like, okay, you're done. And they had to find another flight that they did. They went to Nassau that day. They stayed there for the night and then grabbed the flight the next morning.
So it took him 2 days to get to
basically
45-minute flight.
Exactly, which is a shame. And me, I went on Bahamas Air, and everybody told me it was a disaster, but everything went really smoothly. But I still had to go through Nassau, so it took me a while.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was a real fun weekend. So then after that, I got another weekend for you. Was Rib Off, which I didn't go to the actual Rib Off, but I went to the after party of Rib Off, and I had a pretty good time. Not gonna lie, it was an interesting thing going on.
Yeah, I didn't go to the after party, but I went to the actual Rib Off, and it was good. Although, did you guys? You haven't had this show, right? You haven't talked about the Rib Off. Are we talking about it tonight? Or?
Sure.
Is it an item tonight, or can we get?
I mean, I had it on my weekend talk, but what do you want to talk about?
Well, that we
can play it loose tonight.
It was unprecedented, the results this year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, there were first of all there were only about, I think, 17 teams this year. And I say only, that's a lot. From the first year it was 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Last year that was up to 22. But this year wasn't quite as publicized, maybe, or the yacht club's undergoing its cosmetic surgery right now. So, but they did a great job of carving out space and doing it. 17 teams. This year, when they came up to make the announcements for the winners, they usually announce the third place team, but the third place team was disqualified because they showed up a few minutes late. For the teams are supposed to be on the premise at 1 o'clock, but they showed up a few minutes late. So they actually got third place. It was the MC announced that they got third place, but then she said that they were late, so she stripped their third place title and moved the fourth place team up, which was ribbed for her pleasure. I think the team that was taken out were the Lone Rangers.
Okay,
it's kind of an oxymoron, the Lone Rangers, but these guys obviously can cook. I think that might be Chino Vidal's team.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So they were late and they got disqualified.
And then they called the second place team, and it was a tie for second. So Three Little Pigs, which is the Luzaraga group, that's their perennial. They're mentioned every year in some way in one of the cook-offs that they do at the 10 different types of cook-offs they do at the yacht club.
Okay.
Then there was another team called. What a pig. So those two pig teams tied for second. Hashtag what a pig is Hector's team. Hector, he puts on this great Super Bowl party every year. He's a great cook. I had no doubt that they would represent this year. And then the first place team, the first place was also a tie. So first place was thing. McLovin, which was the Laughlin Duncan collaboration. And those guys were cooking their ribs in some vacuum-packed, water-sealed pouches.
Oh, yeah, sous vide. They did a sous vide thing, yeah.
And they tied with last year's champion, Beach Blanket Barbecue. Can't believe I know all these names. So they tied for first. So then, so Bill Durham was, friend of the show. He's texting me later for information on what are the team's names and who are the guys in order, and no, it's impossible. There can't be a tie for first and a tie for second. And, usually when there's a tie for first, the next place is a second place, right? I mean, rather third place, because there is no second place because there's a tie for first.
Okay, that's one. I suppose that's one way to do it, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's not the way it went. So basically 6, if you count the team that was disqualified, 6 out of the 17 teams received some kind of recognition on the podium at the end.
So the reason they don't do they didn't choose just one for the tiebreaker or anything like that, I assume is because it's a point thing, and the judges are working with a point system, and then they just don't know by the end who was better than who. They mark it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, there's criteria, like texture, flavor, visual. There's these criteria, and you can rate each criteria on a scale of whatever it is, and then you add them up and you get the point values. But
Do you think they should have just picked one?
I do think so.
Do you think it would be hard to pick one after you ate 16 ribs and then you have to go back to these 2 that you kind of don't remember? And you just have like a point thing there?
Maybe, but what they should do now going forward, so it's always about, making it better, right? The whole MVP. They should tell each team that each team has to save
1 rib,
a
right?
rib. No, 3 ribs, right, for the 3 judges.
Okay.
In the event of a tie. I think that that would make sense. And that puts a whole other different kind of strategy to, preserving those last 3 ribs and that they don't get dry and when do we heat them and that kind of thing.
Man, the chances that there's going to be so many tiebreakers in the future are probably slim.
Either that or just Rochambeau. Bring them up and just Rochambeau.
Yeah, I think that's better. The judges should have not said anything and should have just picked one of the, one has to be better than the other, right?
I don't know what they're going to do. They were both excellent. Both of those were among my top 3 favorites. Yeah, the two winners. What was nice this year was that it wasn't so crowded. And it really gave you a chance, to go to the tables and sample their ribs. Because with your ticket, you get access to the Yacht Club buffet, which is nice. But what you really want to do is taste, the ribs of the contestants. So,
of course,
able to go to the tables and find a rib easily.
Very cool.
But great event. Bob Kemper, they raised some money for a scholarship that is in his name, and it went well.
Yeah, I had a good time with the late night crew at the rib off. It was just a good time.
Was there dancing on the dance floor?
There was dancing. There was
packed the
hanging
dance floor
out.
like it's been in the past?
There was after the dance floor, they just kept going. At the tents, there was still action. It was just a good time.
Weber, right?
Weber was still going. This other team next to him was still going. And
cool.
Yeah, just fun times.
Awesome.
All right, and then the last thing I did in these past couple of weeks that I can still remember is that last night I went with my buddy Andy, and we went up to... Andy is still... I'm friends with him too, but not as much as Andy. Andy is still good friends with Joe, the old dockmaster at the Yacht Club. And so we went up to visit him. He's living in Hallandale. And we hung out and made some pork chops and corn on the cob and ate dinner at his place, and it was just good to see him. For anybody who remembers Joe the Dockmaster,
is he retired or just?
Yeah, he is retired. He sold his house he had a house near the roads, but not in the roads, and like a Shenandoah area. And he just sold that, and he had an old house that is family owned up in Hallandale, and somebody had just recently left it, so he went and moved in there, and now he's he's retired from what I understand. Yeah,
that's nice for you guys to go up and see him.
Yeah, and he's doing real well. For anybody who remembers, he was a great dockmaster, real cool guy, and he's still a real cool guy.
Cool.
So that was something. All right, let's move on. It is Monday, June 10th, 2019. This is No One's Listening Show, episode 153. We are back after a month of absentia. And let's do a little music, a quick music talk. I know what you're talking about. It's not your favorite rhythm and blues band, though. Not this time.
It's not my favorite, nor is it my favorite polka band. But it is one of my absolute favorite bands. It's a band I saw this weekend, Dead and Company. And I'm going to pick, they played a cover of Bob Dylan's A Hard Rain Is Gonna Fall. And it was tremendous. It's a poem. That story, it's a poem. And there might be, I don't know what the literary reference is, but it's something. And it was just beautiful with that background. And Bob Weir was just at the top of his game. He's in great shape. He's like 70, and he's just killing it. So Hard Rain Is Gonna Fall, Dead and Company.
Are you going to play us some?
No.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then I don't have to play mine either.
Yeah.
Mine is, I actually recommended one of her songs maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then the album, this is a woman named Kate LeBon, Welsh singer-songwriter. She lives in L.A. now. Really loved her old stuff. Had a couple singles come out this year. And then now the album finally was released about a week and a half ago, maybe 10. Now it's like 2 weeks.
Any relation to Simon?
No. Was there a Simon LeBon?
Simon LeBon?
I don't know Simon
Duran
LeBon.
Duran?
Oh, is that his name?
I think so.
Oh. Well, it's Kate Laban. It could be a similar last name. I mean, maybe they're both Welsh. Anyway, the song's called You Don't Love Me. It's the second last one on the album. I really like the whole album. Suggest you check it out. It's called Reward, the album, and the song's called You Don't Love Me. How can I explain it? I don't know. It kind of sounds like Nico. I said this the last time from, Nico and the Velvet Underground. Well, she kind of has that kind of voice, but the music is different. Some little horns, really minimal, but a lot of depth to it. So check that out, and that is your music talk for the week.
Quick one.
All right. Any key hacks? Actually, I got a key hack for you.
You answered your own question.
Yes. You might already know this key hack, but imagine you are in the Garden District and you want to go pop over for a pina colada at the Ritz. Okay? You don't have to go all the way through the front, all that crap. There's a little gate right over there that's open, and you can just walk right through. It's at the east side of Galen.
I mean, that gate's always been there.
It's a little gate there on Galen East. Go down Galen East, and you'll.
I think it's called Ocean Drive, that frontage road.
Yes, exactly. Where right before the turn on Galen into Ocean Drive. So right there's a little gate, and you can just walk right in, and you don't have to go through that whole.
There's no fob.
There's no fob. There's no nothing.
There used to be a key.
So apparently it's because there's a good amount of staff that lives here in the Garden District.
Ritz staff?
Enough so that they just keep it open, yeah.
Cool.
And it's just easier to get in and out than, especially if you're in the Garden District, but also so that you don't have to, I don't know. It's nice. I mean, if you're real handy, you'll park somewhere right near that gate.
Yeah, and if you have an entrepreneurial fire in your ass, you can set up a little pina colada stand just inside of it for $5. Yeah. $5 pina colada.
Why even go in there?
Yeah.
I like it.
You can walk into Dune with your traveler. And don't forget, bring your reusable cup.
Oh, I like that. So that's your key hack, the little door on Galen to get into the Ritz-Carlton. Talking about getting into places, that's real hard to get in. Oh, we're going straight into the news right now. It's real hard to get into the beach, apparently. Let me talk to you about this. So the key. No,
hang on. There are a couple of ways to get into the beach, right?
There are a couple of ways.
Just a couple.
Yeah. So the Key Biscayne asked the federal government for some money to help us redo our beaches, to re-nourish the beach, as they call it, which means getting sand or pumping sand or doing some kind of thing to restore more sand on the beach so it doesn't all go away. And the Army Corps of Engineers came by, assessed the situation, and they said, you know what, this beach is not very public, and this program is really only for public beaches. And so the key was, they said, well, we do have some public access to the beach, but the Army Corps of Engineers says there's not enough public access to the beach, and there's not enough public transportation near these accesses either. So right now the manager and the council is kind of trying to figure out what to do to make this, to qualify.
Sounded like Spin City to me.
Yeah.
Public transportation?
Yeah.
A freebie.
Yeah, exactly. So they want to make it so the freebie goes by the public access. This was reported on Key News, and the manager says that they're going to try and open more public access, and I'm not sure where they would do that.
I think you just opened one right now, Rafa. The one over your key hack is the new public access. Did the Army Corps of Engineers take that one into account?
That goes straight into private property, so it's not. I don't think it counts. But we only have the two public accesses on the side of the old Sonesta, the Oceania
North and South path,
and that's it, right?
Well, I guess you can't count the beach park.
I don't think they count the beach park because it's not public completely.
What about that public access? It's not actually a public access, the one by the Commodore Club.
No, I think that one's...
you need a key.
Yeah, it's often locked.
Ocean Lane Drive condos.
Yes, exactly. So, the Kia now is in a bit of a pickle because we've tried so hard to make the beach unaccessible and have succeeded so well that now we can't get any money to pay for this stuff, and this is tens of millions of dollars.
So what's the fix? We got the freebie for the public transportation.
Yeah, they can probably run a freebie loop that will touch on some of the paths or something like that, that would probably help. But they need to open up some access, and I'm not sure where they would do that. They would
but you know,
open up the beach park?
The Oceana path puts you on to private beach, right? I mean, it doesn't...
So that's another thing that's a curious situation. Yes, you go after the Oceana path, and theoretically, everything that's in front of the buildings is theirs. So really, the only thing that the key really has access to is what's literally on the path. Now, obviously, if you get out there, you can just walk around wherever you want, but I don't know how the Army Corps of Engineers assesses that. Do they see that as private to the left and right of those paths or not? This is going to be, I don't know. I don't know how much money was involved. I thought, maybe somebody will know us here in the comments, but I thought it was like over $10 million. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for the key to figure this one out without, letting everybody onto the beach.
And are we due for a renourishment? Is that the thing, or they're just teeing it up for the future?
I think they're just teeing it up, though it has been a bit since that. The last time was when they towed they brought it in with trucks last time. Remember? There
was the time that they did the partial one.
Yes, exactly.
Which was not that long ago. It was 2 years ago.
It was only 2 years ago?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it feels longer than that. Well, the beach right now doesn't look too bad, but this is going to be a problem in the future. Man, where do you think they would open up enough public access? I don't see where they could do that. They don't even own any land.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they can cut a deal with the beach club. I guess you can't do that.
Yeah, that'd be...
Beach park?
Yeah, no, you can't do that because you'd have to let everybody into the beach club. You could let the beach park be free to the public, which would be interesting. I mean, a lot of people already sneak in there. It's not really a big deal, but I don't know. I wonder how it's going to affect things. Talking about public lands... Came out today that the key is shopping around for some more land. Well, they've been, and one of these advisory boards is recommending some things, stuff we've already heard, but some stuff we haven't.
I haven't heard. Rafa, tell me.
So the one we've already heard is the leasing the land from the Presbyterian Church. Okay, that's kind of in talks. They were going to have a school there, and it fell through, a charter school. And so I guess they are looking for, some fundraising opportunities.
So when you say leasing the land, does that mean that would the church remain, or they would take over part of the parking lot, or
so
what?
That was not detailed in the thing. That's something that would have to be, worked out. But obviously you would need access for people. So the church would have to cede the idea that people are going to park in their lot. I assume that would be part of the deal.
Put a grass field out there?
No, the field that's already... Oh, I don't think they're going to pave over the parking lot to put field there. I'm saying to lease the bayfront part on the...
Little bayfront park.
Yeah, that little bayfront park. So that's one option, and that's been an option. There had been talks before, but apparently the church is now receptive again to talk about it. And the other ones were down Harbor Drive... right in front of Sunset Circle, which is, it's like 500 and something, Harbor Drive or something like that. And they're not on the ocean side. It's two houses that are on the edge of a block. So 2 streets come out, and there's a little thing like that, and it's the 2 houses here.
To make a little pocket park?
Yeah, to make a little pocket park of 2 house lots.
Those harbor lots are big.
Yeah. So if you have 2 of them, it looks significant. So one of the houses it's on Enid. That's what it is. So one of them is on Enid and Harbor, and the other one is right south of that, which is... Oh, I always forget the name of that street. Can't tell you.
Beechwood?
Nah. Anyway. Maybe
Harbor
it's not
Court?
Enid. Maybe I'm wrong about Enid. Whatever. It's down there. There's 2 houses. And they want to buy them, or they're recommending.
They're teardown houses there? Or?
One of them is an older house, and you could call it a teardown. It's a really nice one of the old ones. It's in pristine condition, and it's nice. It's not a Mackle. It was a different design, but it's the same kind of year. And it'd be a shame if that house went down, but That's one of them, and the other one is like a McMansion thing.
So those are two new. Well, no, the Presbyt's not so new.
Yeah, but the other one is brand new.
The other one's brand new.
Yeah, the other one's brand new. And I don't know how they would do to buy two houses, because once the other guy knows you're buying the other house, it's even harder to make a deal. You got to make a deal with two people. But they put it up there like it should be looked at. It'd be an interesting place for a park.
Yeah, it would, because Harbor Drive is it's a high traffic pedestrian route. People take their walks on Harbor Drive.
Yeah, they do. Even if they don't live anywhere near it, a lot of people do the circumference the island type of thing with their runs.
Has the idea of the Garden District? What was that? What's that property? 250 or no 202?
Was that what it was?
No, yeah. Remember the one that was
in talks?
Brought up 3 or 4 years ago?
It has not been brought up again. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. Was it on Galen or was it here on Sunrise? It was Sunrise right here, right?
Yeah, like 202 Sunrise.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if a developer will choose to develop it or what. But no, for now, that's not been talked about. One thing I did hear about was the fact that if you put a park there, you're reducing a bunch of more affordable rental units on the
low-income housing, Rafa, you can call it.
Yeah, but it's not really low-income, because when you say low-income housing, you're talking about something else. But yeah, you are removing some of the most affordable places on the Key,
I live across the street from there, and I'd have to kind of think about how I would feel about having a park there, which brings trash and people and.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it sounds. I mean, I would love it. It'd be great. I can go out and pick up trash every day over there. And
I don't think
it's friends.
I don't really think that here in the Key you have a problem with parks bringing unwanted situations.
I think I would love it.
Yeah.
From the beginning, I liked it.
My only worry is that when it was actually council member Moss who brought it up to me. That I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, you're taking away housing stock where some of the. It's not so much that
right. So instead, they're going to build another 101 Sunrise, and it's a $2 million apartment.
Well, are they though?
They're not. It's not an apples to apples thing. Like what it is now is more affordable housing compared to what it will be. It'll be equal to buying a house.
Right, but things have to change a lot for that to make sense. So with 101, it made sense at the time that they did it. But I don't think it makes sense to take away as many units as you're taking away at 202 and build less units and the height thing. Like, if not, I think they would have done it already. If it made so much financial sense, a lot of these buildings would have gone down.
What's going on with property values on the Key these days?
Well, that's another thing in the news. So the property appraiser came out and said that the Key is looking at a 2.8% loss in property values this year. It's the biggest loss in the whole Miami-Dade County for any of this incorporated municipalities. And that's a curious thing. It means a budget shortfall, $700 million budget shortfall expected for the village. I mean, it could be not 2.8%. It could be maybe less, that it falls, the property values. But it's curious that out of all of Miami-Dade, here is where property values are decreasing the most. Isn't that kind of interesting? So some of the reasons... it's on average, too. So some of the reasons is because in the rest of Miami or in a lot of different places in Miami, they're building a lot of new stuff. And when you build new stuff, it counterbalances with the old stuff that loses value, right? Like the older condos, really, that lose value. So they were not doing that here on the Key. And so you have just a mean, like an average going down. I don't really know what to make more of it. I don't know if there's another thing is that people want to live close to the city and they're looking at this as not as attractive anymore. And yeah, I don't know if it'll turn around, if this is like the new normal and things will just kind of, Key Biscayne will go back to being a little more sleepy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of it.
Yeah,
yet.
I think maybe the fix is to have less supply. Just build more pocket parks.
That would be a fix. It would be a fix to make things go up again, but I don't know. I don't know if you change the fact that people just don't want to live here as much anymore.
It's
because
far. It's far to drive all the way out here. It's far, super far. So
as other neighborhoods in Miami come up and aren't
stay out there
and aren't as bad as they used to be.
For sure, Doral. Check out Doral.
People are living over there, and so it's an interesting thing. I mean, what I would really like to see is commercial property values start going down, so that people can...
So places can last for like more than 3 months.
Exactly, yeah. And so that everything's not so expensive, and so, I don't know, so you can get some more, mom and pop type of places.
Like La Scala, by the way. If you haven't been to La Scala lately, check it out. Don't forget to call for a reservation. Tell Chandra that the gang from Rat Radio sent you.
Scala still hits the spot. I was there maybe like 2 weeks ago.
I think I'm going on Wednesday.
Nice. Yeah, so that's what's happening with property values. So if you are looking to speculate on the Key, it's a bad idea. And with any luck, everything kind of plateaus and we can live here. And one thing I didn't mention is that the highest end of the market is doing gangbusters. Like those big old penthouses in the ocean clubs and stuff like that, those sell, and they sell really well. Because there's a lot of money coming in from New York and stuff, where they put they're not allowed to deduct their property taxes anymore, their federal property taxes and their federal income taxes. And those people are like, oh man, well now it's time to leave New York, and they have a lot of money and they're looking for big money places. But the places in the middle, your Key Colony apartments and stuff like that, that's kind of just older apartments that aren't humongous. Those aren't doing so hot on the Key. All right, let's see what else I got written down here. On this Monday, June 10th, 2019, No One's Listening Show, episode 153. I am here with Manny and me, your host, Rafa. Next week, we're going to do the show again, and we hope to have a bigger crowd, though Manny won't be here, which is a shame. Okay, and the last thing I got... Oh, no, this one's funny. So some Mashta residents... put together a little petition. Mashta Island residents, they are sick and tired of people fishing on the Mashta Island Bridge, and they want to get it banned. And so I think like 180 of them signed it or something like that. They say that the it smells or something like that when they're running by and stuff like that. What do you think about fishing on the bridge? I think it's kind of like a charming thing for a community to have.
This came up in one of the chats, in the green chat.
Okay.
The green chat, I mean, everything's fair game in the green chat. Right? So first of all, so someone shared this petition on the green chat, and it has the generic template. Please consider signing along with me on. That person didn't write that, but that's what it said. So it makes it seem like they're promoting it.
Okay.
And you go in, you look and see what it is, and everyone was pretty. It was crickets. Everyone was pretty quiet about it, and I chimed in after a little while. I said, hey. I go, man, I grew up fishing on that bridge. It was awesome. My kids go out there and they fish all the time. They ride their bikes and grab, bring their rod and their tackle box and ride their bikes and fish out there. And then somebody was like, yeah, that's right. I mean, and so the wave turned towards being able to do it. And,
yeah.
And then so it was interesting. These were a bunch of adults saying, we shouldn't. I think I'm going to go out there. And it says you need a permit. So Billy Kimball, friend of the show, was like, I'm going to go get a permit tomorrow. And so I'll report back to everybody on what the permit situation is. He went to the village. He got the permit. I don't know exactly what it takes, but it's pretty easy.
Okay.
And here you can get bait here, and they're telling him you can go to the gas station and buy frozen shrimp or squid or whatever. And so then I thought, you know what, let me ask my kids about it. Well, first of all, that morning when I first read it, I walked into my kids' room. I go, I don't want you guys ever fishing on the bridge again. And they're like, Dad, what are you talking about? No, it's a mess. And, I just stay away from there. Just stay away.
Okay.
You're on TV, That's what I tell my kids always. You're on camera somewhere. So then, I thought about it, and I asked them, and they said, my son, Lucas, said, Dad, man, I was out there the other day, and there was this group of, like, you know, that shit age on the key, that like 12, 13-year-old,
Okay.
you know, just they're out there throwing eggs and whatever. Group of kids out there. These are kind of newcomers, you could tell. And they were killing fish that shouldn't have been killed, like undersized fish, stabbing them on the street and just, you know. And listen, my brother worked for like a death penalty group one time. And you know, if your kids are abusing animals, that's a red flag. You know. So then he said, and then on top of that, they were taking squid and the bait and throwing it at each other, throwing squid and like, you know, you throw a wad of squid and it sticks to one of those beautiful posts there or on the fence. And it sticks on there, and it's out there for a few hours. You know, that thing's never coming off, and it's gonna, you know, the flies will start living on that and thriving on it, and you'll be smelling that thing on the, you know, if you're downwind of that, you're gonna be smelling it. So
okay.
So I said, he's like, man, Dad, they're ruining it for everybody. I go, did you take some pictures or videos? He goes, no, I was too busy, you know, telling them to stop it, to knock it off. I go, next time, I want you to take a video, you know, because I mean, it would have been perfect for the green chat.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand people might be concerned on maybe commercial fishermen coming. They were saying commercial fishermen were going in there.
What are you going to commercial fish there? You're not going to get anything. That makes no sense.
The guy's a big rod. He's not a commercial fisherman. He just has a big rod. Or, you know, there's always the kind of, you don't want to say it, but the, you know, these aren't Key Biscayner's.
Yeah, that for sure is happening. A little bit of that. I mean, if they leave garbage and stuff, I understand that too.
That's a problem.
But, man, it's just like when they took away Nixon Beach. You know?
What do you mean took away Nixon Beach?
Like, you used to be able to pull your boat up to Nixon Beach, and then they took it away. And we would always pull our boats up there, you know, all of us Key Biscayner's, and these small group of neighbors petitioned to not let anybody pull their boat up, and it was, you know, it was somewhere that people had been going on the Key for years and years and years, and these guys got it shut down, you know, to the, you know, for the few, and the many of us got screwed. I mean, and the same thing will happen with this bridge that the Chief Harmon tournament, like, used to have it on their little map of places you can fish and stuff like that. I mean, the Chief Harmon hasn't happened in a long time, but
if any of our listeners that, you know, live out on Mashta Island, what they think, because I'm sure they have, you know, kind of a different perspective on it.
Of course. I mean, sure.
Love to hear from you. Give us a call.
305-361-8557. Yeah, but I'm sure they do have a different perspective on it because they see it every day. But at the same time, like, how bad could it really be? You don't want to see fishermen. I mean, they wouldn't want to see fishermen anywhere. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a not in my backyard type of thing. I sometimes when I see fishermen on the beach, I get annoyed too. But I'm not going to say no fishing on the beach. You know, I get annoyed. They're there with their thing. Their lines are in my way or whatever. It's like, oh man, now I got to dodge your line. Whatever, man. Beaches are for fishing and bridges are for fishing. And I don't fish, but it's part of it. That's how I see it anyway. Let's see if anybody's got any comments here on this slow Monday, June 10th. Asking what about fishing right before the state park? It's kind of obstructed there. If you're going to the state park and in front of the towers.
I think that comment from Kevin Goodwin is talking about public beach access. That was when we were talking about public.
Oh, to try to open that up.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Where?
I don't think it counts as a beach, though, because
the
Army Corps is looking to...
You'd have to do it inside the state park lines? I mean, you can't do that.
Oh, that's interesting, like between the state park and the...
There's a little path there by Marzul, by Grapetree, but that's private property.
Yeah, that's also private. So you would say, like, do it between the towers and the state park? I don't think that would work. Anyway. All right. And the last thing I have on the agenda here... Oh, no, actually, I have two things for you. Hold on. Let me talk about one. I was talking to... and this goes back to the kids, which is funny. I was talking to Pat Woodson the other day, and she was talking to me about a program that she's trying to convince people to get behind, which is a in the schools to offer up a scholarship for those paid for by the village for a select few couple kids who apply and actually want to do this, and they would get a chance to go on an outward bound trip. And this was the idea. If you don't know what outward bound is, it's like a what do you call it? I don't know how
it's like a leadership kind of camp.
Leadership excursion into the wilderness where kids learn to kind of navigate and do things,
team building,
and all on their own kind of thing, where they're not like
it's usually kind of a high end demographic.
Because it's expensive.
Yeah, it's super.
That's
expensive.
the thing. So they want she's trying to get the village to offer up some money to give out scholarships at MAST. And one of the reasons she was saying that she kind of implied it, and I kind of said it, is like there's a bit of a toxic culture at MAST with the kids. They're all little punks, apparently. Bunch of little rich kid punks. Classist, a little bit racist, a little bit things like that are happening at the school. And obviously you can't fix that completely, but the idea is that if you get these scholarships, the hope would be that some kids that don't normally associate with each other would go on this trip together and come back somewhat enlightened about the fact that they're not so different after all, type of thing. And it's good for the kids individually too, but it might spread a little bit of that attitude in the school. I think it's a great idea. I don't know how much money is out there to do these type of things, but if there is the money, why not? But what I wanted to ask you, and how much do you know? Because I'm so out of touch with the kids, and I don't talk to any kids. Is how bad is this? Is it like a small pocket that just kind of that is spreading that kind of attitude through the school, or is it? I don't get what it is.
Yeah,
is it a parents thing?
I don't have kids at MAST, and I know that. But I see a lot of great stories coming out of MAST. I see kids who, I grew up coaching them, and they're graduating, and they're going to, Brown, or they're doing these amazing things.
Okay.
So I see a lot of really good stuff happening. I know that there were kids from MAST who reached out to fill a bag and wanted to do a beach cleaning and took that upon themselves and organized it. I know my friend's daughter, I think, is the president-to-be for MAST, and she's an incredible kid. So there's always great, but at the same time, we've heard stories of, racism or
classism.
Classism.
Like we're the rich kids, we're cool, and you're not, type of thing. Bullying on those grounds.
The Key Biscayers walked into MAST with that. There was already kind of that preconceived notion by the existing group there.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not being naive either. I know the breed of kids that are when they're 11, 12, 13, 14 years old and they're running around the Key, they get a lot of independence. I've said it before, every kid has a $30 bill in their pocket. They have, their devices and phones, and they're hanging out in the CVS parking lot, and they're trashing stuff and throwing their, littering, and so fights. I saw a fight the other day at the school.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a fight. These two kids started fighting.
No way.
Yeah, and I had to break it up, and I had to call one kid out. I'm like, dude, you're being a bully. What grade are you in? He's like, I'm in 6th grade, and I go to the other kid. The other kid was in 4th grade.
No way.
Yeah, even though the 4th grader was bigger than me. Still, the psychological element.
At that age especially, the difference is huge.
And then you know what else I saw the other day at the school when we were having our baseball game was a group of kids that showed up, probably like 13, 14-year-olds, and they were boxing. They were having like a Fight Club boxing match in the corner by where the new graffiti art wall is. And apparently that's a thing here now. I know that I have had to talk to my son and be like, I don't care if you go and watch. You've had 2 concussions, no boxing.
Okay.
So
they have gloves and stuff?
Yeah, they're wearing gloves. But, you see these packs of kids, and they just get, they're...
Well, one thing is to be a kid and do a little mischief, and one thing is to be, a racist dickhead at school and like bullying people. That's different. I see them a little differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one is like a kind
spot
of.
on. I'm not.
Because kids are going to be kids, you know, but it's kind of like their motivations is what I'm more concerned about.
I think there's more good than bad.
Okay, that's good
for
to hear.
sure. And unfortunately, the bad smells worse.
Gotcha.
So even if it's just a little bit of bad, that's what you hear about. That's what you see. And so my take on it is, how do we educate the good?
Gotcha.
To work with, to help kind of identify, stifle the bad. This is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, you know me. I'm stopping people all the time.
Yeah, I've seen you.
Pull over.
I think that's kind of funny. I want to, did you ever think that you would be that guy?
Yeah.
You did think?
No, I never thought that.
Manny will sometimes scold a kid, which I think is good. I think honestly is good because somebody's got to tell him.
I won't. It's not that I'm scolding him. It's that I'm like, dude, you can't drive at 50 miles an hour on Glenridge.
Yeah.
Pull over. So, and my question is always the same. You know what it is, right? The first time I see a kid doing, littering, speeding, fighting, whatever it is, you know what my first question is? Come on, you know what it is. Give us a call at 305-361-8557 if you know what that first question is.
Wait, I do know what it is. Wait, do you...
Kid's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Something wrong. Speeding, running a light, not stopping at the yellow lights for pedestrians.
Do you live on the key? Is that
do you live on the key? Do you live on the key? Yeah, that's what I ask him.
I like that.
Because that's a grounding question.
Yeah.
And that makes something that we both have in common right away. So let's go from here.
Yeah. That's funny because my attitude, you come more as like the wise elder, whereas I am much more likely, though I haven't, but if it happens to me, I'm much more likely to engage whoever it is as a peer. I don't see the kid so I'll just cuss him out like if he was a grown man, Like you did, yeah, you little punk. Like what are you doing? Like that kind of thing. But
Give me those boxing gloves.
Not like I am exposing some wisdom to the kid. More like you have wronged me, just like anybody else could have wronged me. Anyway, I'll let you know when that happens. It hasn't happened to me yet.
Just don't challenge some kid to a boxing match.
Yeah. So that's of course I fantasize about smacking other people's kids in my head a lot, but it's never happened yet. One day, maybe. Oh,
great. Now it's going to be premeditated. Nice work, Rafa. That was Rafa, by the way. I'm going to counsel him after.
All right, so anyway, back to the original thing that brought this up was that Pat Woodson is trying to get this thing going. If you're a parent and you have kids at that school, reach out to her. She's looking for some support there with the village and such. Okay, and then finally, this paddle thing that got approved. So PADL, these kids from the Key, I call them kids. They're like my age.
Yeah, they're not like...
yeah, they're like 30.
Rafa, you could challenge those guys.
They're 30-year-olds. They had this idea to do a kind of line bike of paddle boards, and they launched the first one not too long ago in Vero Beach. They've been working on this for over a year. It comes with this lock box thing, these automatic locks, these GPS systems, and all this stuff. They've been talking to the Key and the village for a good 9 months or something about how to implement this on the Key. And right when it was going to go up for in front of the council to get some approval of putting one at the beach park, this resident comes out and he gets really annoyed that he can't kite surf.
She.
Oh, she? It's a she? She gets really annoyed that she can't kite surf and because
it was on the green chat, Rafa. Let's back to the green chat.
To kite surf on the Key, you need to pay $250 or something like that to get a permit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
is it that much? Yeah.
There's a lot. She talked about it as exorbitant fees, which, yeah.
Oh, that's what you're.
Yeah. We're sitting outside here at the Garden District on the Perch, and all of a sudden it smells like the Grateful Dead show. All of a sudden, it's not coming from our property, but we are definitely downwind of.
Everybody's a good neighbor around here.
It's just a little medicine.
Anyway, so somebody complained that kiteboarders get a short end of the stick on the key, and so the paddleboarders shouldn't be allowed to do anything on the key either.
Not only that, but they're going to generate revenue from this idea. Rafa, as you described, it's like city bike meets
paddleboards.
And,
exactly.
The team from Paddle, full disclosure, I'm kind of working with them a little bit, helping consulting. They approached the village about setting up a paddle station at the village beach park right near the Fillabag station, actually. And so it's a great setup. I mean, it's a beautiful idea. They've also spoken to the beach club about doing it. And so the village said, okay, sounds cool. Eventually, they're like, okay, let's bring it up they brought it up for discussion. Yeah. They discussed it. The village gave the paddle guys the contract that was like the Lime Bike contract.
Okay.
Which was try it out for a year. If it works, we'll revisit it and we'll look for a revenue share model.
Yeah.
So basically, in the first year, the paddle guys were going to assume all costs. It's a 5-figure investment to set it up there, and they were assuming all those costs, not charging the village anything, and then they would whatever the revenue was, they would offset their cost with that revenue.
Yeah.
And then after a year, they would come back to the table and be like, "Hey, look, let's look at a revenue share."
Yeah, did it work? Did it not? Let's see.
At the same time, we approached the beach club, which was undergoing their transition, or is undergoing their transition, and they're looking for revenue streams right now. So, we approached the beach club and was like, "Hey, look, we'll do whatever the split is." They generate revenue right from the get-go. But the village didn't ask for that, and so the paddle guys were like, okay, that's fine if you want to do it this way. So the person on the chat was like, now they're going to be making money and the village isn't making any money. How is this fair? And somebody was like, I'm going to go buy a little, set up a mobile home over there in the park and run a little
concession something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the kite surfers, they were doing it for a long time, right? And what they were doing didn't work out, and eventually they drilled into the solution, which is at this spot, you can come in and out at this spot. This is your designated area. You need this type of certification to do it, right? Because it's a little different kite surfing than paddleboarding.
It's very different.
Yeah. And so, you can't have some wook out there kiting who doesn't know what he's doing and either hurts himself or some little kid on the beach or something.
Yeah. The setup for a kiteboarder needs like 100 feet or like 60 feet to set
so
just to set up.
You have to have a certification, which means that you are qualified to do it. You may also have to pay some kind of a permit fee. I'm not sure how that works.
I think it's a little expensive, honestly, but I think this person to be mad about the fact that kiteboarding got the short end of the stick and to take it out on paddleboarding was just a misguided thing. You're basically saying, because I'm not happy, nobody can be happy. You know what I mean? Which is a ridiculous thing.
She tried to stir it up. It didn't work, and it went to council, and it was approved.
Yeah.
So the second paddle station, the first one was set up in Vero Beach. The second one is going to happen here at the Key Biscayne Beach Park. We're going to have a big celebration there with Fillabag. We're going to do kind of like a joint event and an awareness event, and just to keep getting people involved. This is a cool thing.
Yeah. I hope it works. I was talking to one of them, and he was trying to. I was really concerned about the actual technical details of how you track a paddleboard rental and all that stuff, and they seem to have thought about every single
There's
possibility.
Life jackets available as well.
There's life jackets. No, not just that. The technical aspect of when you take it, how long you've taken it, and that the fact that that's all being tracked, and then there's like a GPS beacon on the thing in case you for some reason get lost. All that kind of stuff is taken into account. So that's, I don't know. It's an interesting concept.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. I really doubt it's going to be a nuisance. That's the one thing I can probably guarantee.
I think it's going to be an accelerator for people to be more involved in paddleboarding. People will bring their paddleboards down to the beach. I want to go. I want to take someone out. I've got my paddleboard. They don't have one.
Yeah.
They're a guest. I know.
Boom.
Get one right down there. There'll be paddleboards, littered throughout the beach or spread out throughout the beach, and it's just going to add a nice vibe to already what is, in my opinion, the best public space out here.
Definitely. All right,
man. What do we got for the calendar? We're wrapping it up.
That's I don't have anything for the calendar, actually.
Of course you do. There's next weekend is the Portela tournament.
Oh, you're right, and I have to get back to JP about something. Anyway, yes, on Saturday is the Give or Take an Inch George Portela Memorial Fishing Tournament. It's happening at the Key Biscayne Yacht Club, the actual fishing, and then they have the fish fry at
Fishing and diving, and then the fish fry at the beach club. I think you still have time to sign up if you still want to get in on this. Google George Portela Memorial it's a great
Fishing
event.
Tournament.
It's always on the same weekend every year, Father's Day weekend. The party is on Saturday night. Great band. This band, they brought this band last year, Esco, which was recommended by Sandra, friend of the show, and last year Esco brought the house down. When they interviewed them, they basically say, "Can you play Sympathy for the Devil?" They say yes, you're hired. So the Portelas were really happy.
Big one out there.
They were like, "This is the last band that will ever play this event." So good stuff. Unfortunately, I won't be here.
Ooh.
But it should be a great party. That's Saturday the 15th.
Saturday the 15th.
There's also a beach cleanup on Hobie Beach on Saturday the 15th. I don't know if any of you guys follow lifestyle_Miami on Instagram. Do you follow them?
I do not.
Yeah, they're great. And they just do like classic Miami stuff, stuff that people send in, and they're a pretty big site. They're about 600,000 followers now. Anyway, they're good guys. I'm friends with them. They're doing a big cleanup on Dog Beach, Hobie Beach on Saturday. So if you want to get your cleanup on.
Cool.
And I don't know what else there is for the calendar. There's probably some stuff, but openings and closings.
I don't have any openings and closings for you. I don't think I do.
Has anyone heard anything about the empanada place? Have you been there?
So I haven't. It seems like a takeout place or a catering type of place because they only have empanadas on the menu. Did we talk about the fact that's an opening, right?
That was an opening. I'm sure we've covered that.
I don't think we have because we didn't have a show.
Okay.
So there's an empanadas place. They only sell empanadas.
It's next to Domino's.
Yes, they only sell empanadas. Small little area. And I imagine that they work primarily on catering, though I think you can go buy an empanada there. Because if you only sell one product, it seems kind of hard to, I don't know.
I mean, who's the lady who sells that cake, that Pavlova cake? She's...
Well, she has more than that, though.
Yeah, but you start with
that is kind of just like catering. It's not like you go in there and eat a cake.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a catering takeout thing.
Yeah.
You going on the boat, whatever, and so you go buy a box of empanada.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Go and buy a box of empanadas, but they got to be real good. Anyway, so that's your opening. Okay, that's your calendar. That's your openings and closings, and that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week, and then we will be back to our regular on-off schedule. So, okay, I don't know. I don't really have anything else.
Play us out.
Let's play the outro. Thank you, and we're a little rough because it's been a while, but we'll be good next week. Thanks for listening. This works, and here we go.
Listening.